scary Halloween story, but don't watch this unless you're at least over 12 and you don't scare easily. And remember, you cannot unwatch what you have watched. You have been warned. So I shall continue with my little story. Many years ago, there was a very wealthy businessman. He had cars, money, houses, everything a guy could wish for, and lots of women, one of whom he was married to. But all was not what it seemed. He had debts. He had serious gambling debts, and started borrowing money from the mob. Now the mob were after him and they wanted their money back. He'd put them off again and again, and they'd let him off again and again. But tonight's the night they get it back. He was taken round to a mob boss's house, and they sat him down in a chair. At knife point, he thought they were going to split him right up the middle straight away, but they didn't. But the boss spoke to him and said, "Now, Sid, you owe us £100,000 and we want it back by tomorrow." Sid said, I haven't got it. I honestly haven't got £100,000. I really haven't. I'd need weeks to get that kind of money together, if I can do it at all. "Sid, you're not hearing me. We want that money tomorrow without fail, or we will chop all of your fingers off. We will chop all of your toes off, and then we will chop anything else off that is hanging from your body. Do you understand?" Sid understood. He knew what this meant. They were going to kill him if he didn't get the money. So what could he do? He left. He went home and he sat there with a big whiskey. He sat by the fire and he thought to himself, what am I going to do? Tomorrow, I'll never get that money. He thought for a moment. His wife. Years and years ago, he gave her a very expensive ring when they were engaged. It was worth £150,000, and it'll still be worth that, if not more, today. That'll do it. He'd probably even be able to get another loan. So he decided he needed the ring, but his wife's wearing it. He waited for her to come home, and then he spoke to her and said, "Darling, these gangsters are going to kill me. I desperately need that ring. I'll buy you another one when I'm back on my feet again, but I need that ring, and I need it tonight." And she said, "No, definitely not. You can't have the ring. If you want some money, get it back from all your fancy women. All those women you spend all those nights with. I spend all my time at home here, looking after the children, making you a nice home. Then you go out and spend all your money and spend nights with these women. Get the money from them. You can't have the ring. No, definitely not." He said, "I need it. I need the ring. I need it desperately. Please, please. I will die tomorrow." "Well," she said, "if you die tomorrow, you die tomorrow. But you can't have the ring." He was distraught. She's just turned him down. What's he going to do? What can he do? The only way. It's his life. Or hers. So he got a large ornament. And while she was in the hit her over the head. She fell to the floor. She was still moving. So he picked up the ornament again. Now she stopped moving. Without even thinking, with blood all over him and all over the kitchen floor, he started pulling at the ring. Pulling and pulling and pulling. But it wouldn't come off. Of course it would. It'd been there for years. She'd grown a little bit fat, and now it wouldn't come off her finger at all. He looked around. He went to the drawer and pulled out a bread knife. He started cutting her finger. It was much harder than he thought to get through the bone and the sinews and the gristle of the finger, but finally the finger came off and he had it in his hand and he took the ring off. We fast forward now 25 years. We see a successful Sid, a businessman again, back on top. No wife, but lots of fancy women, all the time. 2 Rolls Royces. He's made it bigger than he ever could have imagined. He now owned a castle, and he liked to spend time there. He'd fly up there in his helicopter, land inside the castle grounds, and he'd be home. He'd have huge parties there. Fantastic. A castle with all mod cons inside. He loved it. So one evening he decided, let all the people just go out, and he sent them all off. And he had an evening just relaxing by the fire by himself. A thunderstorm came along. Flashes of lightning, thunder, and then rain. It was a miserable evening outside, but a nice evening to be inside. Until he heard a knock on the door of the castle. So he went and answered the knock on the door. And there was a little old lady, completely soaked through. And he said, "Oh, my dear, you're soaked. What's the matter?" "My car's broken down, just down the road." "Well, come in and make yourself at home. Let me take that coat from you and I'll find you a blanket. And come over, look, we've got a huge fire going over here." So she sat down in front of the fire, warming herself. "Would you like a cup of coffee or tea or something?" "A cup of tea would be nice, thank you." So he got her a cup of tea, gave it to her. She was wrapped in a blanket. She sat there holding the tea in front of the fire, warming herself. He'd hung her coat up in front of the fire, and it was now getting warm and beginning to steam. He said, "Well, we'll soon have you dried off." She didn't say anything. She just kept staring into the firelight, drinking her tea. And he was sat by the fire too, looking at her. And then he saw something that made his blood run cold. He saw that on her left hand, her wedding ring finger was missing. And he thought, no, it can't be. It's impossible. It's just resist any longer. He had to ask. I just noticed that you have a finger missing, and I wondered how it happened. Well, the old lady took the tea from her face, and slowly she looked up at